Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I'm your melanated queen and your hostess, Lil Foxy, aka Seven Wonder. You can also call me Shanae. As you can see, I have on one of my shirts that I designed by yours truly. You all gotta check to make sure the sound is coming through okay. All right. So it sounds like the sound is coming through okay, you all. If you're not aware, I have another YouTube channel. And on that other channel, my sound got so messed up. And then I can't stand when it starts echoing. So today's topic, you all, I have my notes here. We're talking about the fact that the judge has mandated the Cupid shot. Okay. We're going to call it the Cupid shuffle because apparently YouTube doesn't like for me to say the C word. That's, I guess a banned word in YouTube land. So I don't want this channel to be stricken like the other one was. And then I also got a copyright claim from last night's live stream on the other channel. So we're just going to go for it and see what happens, you all. But yeah, I had such a good layout of information for y'all last night that I wanted this information out because you all know that they are mandating that the military gets vaccinated by September 15th, I believe. And that's what, in 2 days? It's crazy. So, what I'm going to do, let me turn this up for y'all because I like to make beats. I do a lot of different things. And so I want y'all to hear this beat that I made, y'all. Yeah, I think this adds a little nice little ambiance to the background. It's real smooth, you know what I mean? And I wanted to play this in the background of the video while I'm recording for y'all live. You could just hear something, real smooth and flowing. You know, I'm a big advocate of music, y'all. It helps relax my nerves. Let me see if I can hear this. Can y'all hear this? Let me see what it sounds like, y'all. I'm about to turn it up on y'all. I'm about to turn it up on y'all. I want y'all to hear the bass line though. She killed that bass line. She broke it down, y'all. Anyway, let me stop playing. You know what I might do? I'm gonna see if I can post it on the channel and just let it play. All right. All right. So anyway, let me take these out of my ear. That was my beat that I made. Yeah, I'm gonna probably post some of my beats on here and let y'all listen to some stuff that I've made. But let's get into tonight's live stream, you all. All right. So, let me share this video. So, shout out to my shout out to my mama, y'all. She said that she's actually open to coming on and having some discussions. Ain't nobody else doing it, so don't even try to jock my idea, y'all. But yeah, so the reason I would love for her to come on is because she's very insightful. She has an open mind. And unlike a lot of older people, like people that are older, she's open to new ideas and new information. And she doesn't feel that a lot of the things are out of the parameter of being truthful when I present her the information. So I keep her abreast, and I've actually told her to steer clear of Cupid's shuffle. Okay, I told her not to get the Cupid shuffle, y'all, and so she's definitely not going to get it. She's not doing it. But All right, so I have a little something to eat here with me, but in the meantime, let's get into why we're here. We're here to talk about the Cupid Shuffle and the fact that the judge has ordered a mandated Cupid Shuffle as someone's punishment, you all. Not only that, but do you know that Congress is exempt from getting the Cupid Shuffle as of per Biden? A 13-year-old died from the Cupid Shuffle. And there is also a video showing that someone underwent or has undergone paralysis from getting the Cupid Shuffle. Fauci lied about the Cupid Shuffle. I have like 9 different topics that I'm trying to go in on with this subject matter because I told y'all last night they put a copyright on my YouTube live stream and then my sound got messed up. That was a good stream last night, y'all. Y'all would have loved the stream that I did last night. The billionaires that are capitalizing off of the Cupid Shuffle. We're going to talk about the U.S. Army that filed a lawsuit against the Department of Defense, the Federal Drug Administration, and also against the Department of Secretary. And then they're allowing the kids to get the Cupid Shuffle without the parents' permission. Mm-hmm. My apologies, y'all. That is so unprofessional. Anyway, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen so y'all can see this. All right, now I got to play this in my ear to make sure the sound comes through. Okay, here we go, y'all. I hope there is not an echo. I don't want a copyright strike, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play enough so you get the idea of what's going on here, okay? All right, so you can see that. Great. Let me play this.
It is. Judge Christopher Wagner, who's behind all of this, says judges make decisions all the time regarding their defendants' mental and physical health. But a legal...
Oh, no. No. What is up? Hold on for a second, because I don't know what is up with the fact that they keep on with this freaking echo in the background. Let me try something different, y'all, because normally I don't have this to worry about. Let's see, let's try this. Vaccine. This is crazy, y'all. Now on this other browser, I can't even find it. This is really ridiculous, y'all. Let me see something here, y'all. Let me see. I'm just going to pull up a video and see if it works. All right. Because I don't know why it's starting to play that echoing noise. It's ridiculous. All right. Okay, here we go. Now, let me go back to where I was. Share. Sharing is caring. You know what? I think they don't really want me to show this information. That's how I'm feeling. All right, let's see. All right, you all, can you hear me? Okay, so you can hear me, but you cannot see. The thing is, it's a big echo in the background, which I did not want to have. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have to do it on a different device or something because I want you to hear what's really going on. This is ridiculous. I don't know why this is happening. If this doesn't go as planned, I'll have to do something different, y'all.
As we've reported, it's perfectly legal.
Okay.
Operation Business.
Okay, I heard that. Now let's see what happens when I go to share it. That's the thing. Says share tab. All right, let's see what happens.
What brings you guys out here today?
We're out here because, as you know, California is mandating that all healthcare workers be vaccinated by September 30th. Frankly, that's a violation of human rights. It's a violation of the Nuremberg Code, and it's a violation of the Constitution. They're making us forced to get the vaccine.
Okay. So as you heard, it is a violation of the Nuremberg Code. For you all who are not familiar with the Nuremberg Code, I want you to check that out. And actually, I'll go over that with you as well. This is not the video that I wish to show you. I wanted to show you something else, but apparently the freaking sound keeps messing up. And I don't know why that's the case. And it's really starting to kind of aggravate me, you all. I'm good on my nerves. Because I had some good information for y'all. Let me see something. Let me try this. Let's see what happens when I do this.
Or be unemployed. And the hypocrisy is real. Last year, they decorated us as healthcare heroes, even when we were down to just a limited PPE. We were treating COVID patients for a year and a half without the vaccine. And now they want us to get the vaccine or we're out. So last year we were heroes, and now this year we're facing unemployment.
How does that make you guys feel? Like, given everything that you guys done, as healthcare workers, how does it make you guys feel?
All right. So as you can tell, they are mandating that all workers, especially in the healthcare profession, receive the vaccine. And these people are not for it. They're out there protesting, you all. And I can't blame them because I don't think anybody should have any suggestive control over what you do with your body. I don't think that anybody should be forced to get the Cupid shuffle if they don't want it injected into them. And so they have every right to feel the way they feel. Now, with that being said, this is not the video that I wish to display. What I typed in was that the judge orders a man to get the mandated Cupid shuffle. And so you all, that's what I wish to show, and that's what I wish to display here today. So they better stop playing with me and show my freaking video. All right, so it's playing. All right, let me hear this.
It is. Judge Christopher Wagner, who's behind all of this, says judges make decisions all the time regarding their defendants' mental and physical health. But a legal expert that we talked to today says in this case, if that defendant has to get the COVID-19 shot, it should be directly tied to preventing a future crime. And that same expert says it's a tough sell.
Now, I don't know why did the sound just go out just now. Oh, okay.
Brandon Rutherford faced a judge Wednesday to be sentenced for a drug conviction. But what he heard next caught him by surprise. A court transcript reveals the exchange. Judge Wagner, Mr. Rutherford, you're wearing a mask here, so I'm assuming you haven't gotten a vaccine. The defendant, no, sir. Judge Wagner, why not? The defendant, I just never went to get it. Judge Wagner, are you worried about getting the vaccine? The defendant, no, not really. Judge Wagner, okay, all right. Well, I'm just a judge, not a doctor. I think the vaccine's a lot safer than fentanyl, which is what you had in your pocket. As a condition of his probation, the judge ordered Rutherford to get the vaccine. That decision is raising eyebrows across the community. I asked retired Judge Fanon Rucker whether a demand like that is even legal.
I think that's a hard.
So basically, you all, it sounds like people's civil rights are being violated. And as discussed, let's take a look into the Nuremberg Code so you all are aware of what that is, okay? Because we're going to get into that. We're going to touch on this civil suit that has been filed by the U.S. Army, you all. And they mentioned the Nuremberg Code within the civil suit. Many people are not familiar with it, but this became implemented back in the 1940s because they were over in Germany and they were actually doing experimentations on the soldiers, okay? And against the people. All right, so let me share my screen so that you can see what I'm reading to you. I'm going to read this to you, okay? And let me make sure you can hear me because I know how they like to play with the sound. All right, I hope everyone can see this and I'll make this bigger. All right, sounds like you can hear me. It says, in the United States District Court for the District of Colorado, you all, this is a civil action suit, number 21-CV2228, as you can see. Dan Roberts, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Army, Holly Mulvihill, Staff Sergeant, USMC, and other similarly situated individuals. Plaintiffs versus the Lloyd Austin in his official capacity as Secretary of Defense, U.S. Department of Defense, Xavier Becerra in his official capacity, as Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Janet Woodcock in her official capacity as Acting Commissioner of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. These are the defendants, and here is the complaint. Plaintiff Staff Sergeant Daniel Robert, U.S. Army, and Staff Sergeant Holly Mulvihill, USMC, individually and on behalf of all other similarly situated active duty, National Guard, and Reserve service members, as documented survivors of COVID-19, filed this action against the Department of Defense. Okay, so it says seeking a declaratory judgment that the DOD cannot force them to take a COVID-19 vaccination under existing military regulations, federal law, and the U.S. Constitution. The Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, has publicly notified plaintiffs via memo that he will seek authorization from the President of the United States of America to mandate the Cupid Shuffle vaccine on or about September 15, 2021. Upon information and belief, the DOD is already vaccinating military members in flagrant violation of its legal obligations and the rights of service members under federal law and the Constitution. Army Regulation 40-562 provides documented survivors of an infection a presumptive medical exemption from vaccination because of the natural immunity acquired as a result of having survived the infection. Okay, so these people had it and they have survived it. So basically they're saying that they wish to rely on their body's natural immune function to fight the sickness or the disease off. So they should not be forced to take the Cupid Shuffle. General examples of medical exemptions include the following: evidence of immunity based on serologic tests, documented infections, or similar circumstances. AR 4562, plaintiffs also seek a declaratory judgment on the separate basis that emergency use authorization, DOD, Cupid shuffle vaccine mandate, which have been notified is imminent, cannot be issued in violation of 10 USC 1107 and its implementing regulations, including DOD Directive 6200.2, the FDA regulation of biologics at 21 CFR 50, as well as the law regarding informed consent 50 USC 1520. Neither the president. Okay, do you see right here where it says the Nuremberg Code? Keep that in mind because we're going to further examine that. Neither the president nor the secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, nor the secretary of the Food and Drug Administration have complied with the requirements of those controlling pieces of federal law. Therefore, any forced vaccination of plaintiffs would be or are being administered in blatant violation of federal law, the attendant regulations, and the U.S. Constitution, denying plaintiffs due process of law and violating their bodies. Plaintiffs seek this relief pursuant to the administrative procedures, and it spells it out, the Federal Declaratory Judgment Act and all writs act, okay? Plaintiff also seek temporary and permanent injunctive relief preventing their forced vaccination attendant to their claims for declaratory judgment, you all. Shout out to them. Staff Sergeant Daniel Robert, U.S. Army, is a drill sergeant and infantryman currently on active duty stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Staff Sergeant Holly Mulvihill, USMC, is an air traffic controller currently on active duty stationed at MCAS, New River, North Carolina. Defendant U.S. Department of Defense is an agency of the United States government. It is led by the Secretary of Defense, who also publicly stated that the department will seek authorization of the president to begin mandating the vaccination of the force on or about September 15, 2021. Defendant Department of Health and Human Services is an agency of the United States government. It is led by Secretary Xavier Becerra. Defendant Food and Drug Administration is an agency of the United States government. It is led by Acting Secretary Janet Woodcock. I actually have done research on the Food Drug Administration and the fact that they authorize and they approve things in the food that you eat, including candy, that are cancer-causing antigens. Certain things that they approve here in the United States, they disapprove in other countries such as Europe. They don't allow certain things to be placed in their foods that they do over here because they know that certain things that they place in the foods over here can cause sickness, illness, disease, and cancer, you all. All right, let's see here. This action is brought by the plaintiffs on their own behalf, and on behalf of all class of all other military members similarly situated under the provisions of Fed R Civ P23. So everybody that's basically in a similar situation as them, they're filing this class action lawsuit on their behalf as well. Okay, this is a 15-page civil suit that you can actually read, you all, if you want to further investigate. And I'm just scrolling through, taking a look at it as I discuss this with you. The exact number of members of the class described above is not precisely known, but there are currently in excess of 1.8 million members of the active duty component of the armed forces. The class is so numerous that joinder of individual members is impracticable, if not impossible. Okay. So they're trying to be all inclusive here as much as possible to make it as generalized as they can to protect all that are involved. All right. The action is properly maintained as a class action lawsuit. class action because the mixed questions of law and fact common to the members of the class predominate over any questions affecting only individual members, and a class action is superior to others available methods of fair and efficient adjudication of the controversy. All right, and this talks about the jurisdiction and the venue. Let's continue on. Factual background, immunization and chemoprophylaxis for the prevention of infectious diseases, presumptively exempts from any vaccination requirement a service member that the military knows has had a documented previous infection. These people have already had COVID, you all. Plaintiffs individually and as a class have all previously suffered and recovered from COVID-19 infections. They have already recovered from the Cupid shuffle with the development of natural immunity as demonstrated to or documented by the military. So this says plaintiffs and the proposed plaintiff class of documented Cupid shuffle survivors filed this lawsuit now upon information and belief that service members across the services have already been given a Cupid shuffle vaccine by the military without any of the proper political officials having complied with their legally mandated obligations under federal law and its implementing instructions. All right. So I think that goes into depth enough that you can see what's going on here. And if you, like I said, if you want to further explore this, this is actually on the website. It's courthousenews.com for anybody that who would like to check this article out. I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point, and we'll get into some other things here. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, you all. And also, let me make sure you can all still hear me because I know how they do. All right, so it sounds like you all can still hear me. That's good to know. All right, where's my pen? We're gonna check these things off as we go down the line, you all. Okay. So bam. Bam. Okay. Now, what else did I want to get into? I want to get into that Congress is exempt because I don't think, did I read that article? That Congress is exempt? I think I did. Yeah, it said Biden said that Congress is exempt from the Cupid shuffle, y'all. I think I read that to y'all already, so I'm gonna scratch that off. You can find that article on newsweek.com. All right, now let's get into the fact that Fauci lied. I want to get into that. Yes, indeed. I want to get into that, y'all, because he lied. He blatantly lied. And he is an egregious liar. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to pull this up for you. So please be patient with me. All right. Yeah, he is something else. All right. So here's the clip. I'll pull this up and I am going to share my screen and play this for you so you all can see this. Okay. Now I want you to look at how defensive he looks. You know, when people are defensive like this and they get all mad and nasty looking, that's because they're lying. So you all, we remember when he was on the Breakfast Club, how he came across. He thinks people don't have common sense. You know, that's how people like this are. They think you don't have any freaking sense. But let's go ahead and put this into full. Oh, no. We don't want to do that. Hold on. Let me share my screen and I'll bring this up so you can see it. All right. So he said, I have not lied before Congress. Yeah, right. We're going to find out if you lied or not. All right. Let me turn this. See if I can hear
Statement of May 11th, where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract.
Oh, no.
that
My
statement.
apologies, you all, for the
This paper that you were referring to
my apologies.
was judged by qualified
stop
staff
this.
up and down the chain.
Let me stop this for a second because you know what? We're not dealing with that. Hold on one second. We are not. Here we go. I see the issue here. All right, let's try this again. We're going to run that back. We're going to run that back, y'all. Okay.
Back to your statement of May 11th, where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you were referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about.
Y'all, do y'all see the head work and the head nod?
And you are implying that what we did was responsible for the deaths of individuals. I totally resent that. And if anybody is lying here, Senator, it is you.
Oh, look at him. Looky here. Well, since he stated that, let's see exactly what others are saying. Because clearly something is not making sense. And I thought he was, the world's health immunologist, right? This dude is shady and he's a shyster, y'all. And I'm going to prove to you exactly why. And I think everybody already knows this. But we'll further examine the truth about the matter. Okay. Now, where are we? Let's go here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and share the screen and I'll play this for you. All right, you all, here we go.
Do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th, where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. And if anybody is lying here, Senator, it is you.
Almost as mad at Rand Paul. The documents make it clear that assertions by Collins and Fauci that the NIH did not support gain-of-function research or potential pandemic pathogen enhancement at Wuhan are untruthful. That's a mouthful, but we had to say it. Joining me now is Senator Tom Cotton, who was the first politician to raise the lab leak theory over 18 months ago. Senator, your take on these new documents?
Well, Laura, I've said for months that Tony Fauci should be fired. Now it's clear that he lied to Congress, so he should be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. For 18 months, he's been saddling up his moral high horse and clucking his tongue at college kids who want to go celebrate a football game in an outdoor stadium on a nice fall day, or parents who don't want their kindergartners to have to wear masks their entire lives, telling you have to wear 3 masks, when all along he's been lying, not just to Congress, but to the American people about his role in funding the very reckless, dangerous research at a Chinese communist lab that unleashed this pandemic on the world. It is a disgrace, and it's time for Tony Fauci to be held accountable.
You all, that's all I'm going to play here because I don't want to get a copyright claim. But as you can clearly see, this man is a fraud. It doesn't make any logical sense that we would take advice from someone that has basically been proven in the public eye to be a liar. So with that being said, let's continue on to Exhibit C. Yeah, it's not a joking matter. It's not a laughing matter, but in fact, it is a matter that needs to be addressed. Do you all remember this? You all remember these silly reindeer games? Let's take a look, because I think let's take a trip down memory lane. We all remember this nonsense. All right, I'm gonna pull it up for you. I'm not even gonna really play.
I got a salute.
I'm not even gonna play the audio because I don't know who struck the channel for a copyright claim. I don't know if it was them or someone else. I'm not really sure, but let me share the screen with you so you can see what I'm talking about, y'all. Here we go. Now, if you can't see it, I'll read it to you. It says, Dr. Fauci explains racism's impact on African Americans and the Cupid shuffle. Now, why should there be racism involved in the Cupid shuffle, you all, when I thought it is impacting the entire world? But if you recall, they tried to say that it affects African Americans more than anyone. And I'm kind of curious as to why that would be the case. They tried to say because African Americans have so many of these pre-existing health conditions that they are more disposed to catching the Cupid shuffle, you all. And then if you remember when I spoke in my prior video about the HR 6666 bill that they introduced in May of last year, they were going to urban neighborhoods, and it was called tracing, reaching, and contacting everyone and giving out free testing to people in those particular neighborhoods. And let's get into exhibit. I forgot. Let me add this onto the list because there are perks and rewards for those of you who want to take the Cupid shuffle. So let's get into what type of perks and rewards you shall receive. Okay. And I think these are some silly antics as well. But nonetheless, people are falling for the antics. So let's get into it, y'all. Rewards for taking the Cupid shuffle. All right. Now, all of the states were giving these things out, incentives, if you will. Okay. So this is what your life is worth to them. And I'm going to show you right here, right now. This is what they feel about you. Okay. All right. Let's go, because it starts all the way from A all the way down to the last state. It's in alphabetical order, you all. Alabama. If you want to take the Cupid shuffle to promote it, the Department of Health is sponsoring a TikTok contest for persons between the age of 13 and 29 years old to encourage the Cupid shuffle for the beginning of the school year. TikTok videos can be submitted between July 16th and August 6th of 2021. A panel of judges composed of advertising professionals and ADPH personnel will select 4 winners who will each be awarded $250 Visa gift card. Okay. And another thing, it says the Talladega Super Speedway is offering people age 16 and older who choose to be tested and are vaccinated the thrill of driving their car or truck on the 2.66 mile track. Drivers and their riders will take 2 laps behind a pace car at highway speed, including the 33-degree high banks. Pay attention to 33 degree. That number means something. And if you looked at my other video, it's talking about propaganda and CIA agents. 33 is very significant in that video. Arkansas. If a vaccine is administered the first dose by July 1st, they will receive a $100 bonus. These are for the state agency employees. And this is so silly, y'all. I'm not going to read all of these, but starting May 26, Arkansas, who could get a Cupid shot vaccine can receive the $20 Arkansas Game and Fish certificate for fishing hunting license or a $20 lottery ticket that could win $1 million. Vax for the win in California. 10 winners selected on June 15th to win cash prizes of $1.5 million each. Any Californian ages 12 or over who has had at least one dose of the vaccine will be eligible to win. So you're saying that if you're at the age of 12, this sounds like gambling to me. I thought you had to be 21 years or older. These people are desperate, y'all. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. No entry necessary. If a minor wins, the funds will be put into a savings account until they turn 18. All right. Enjoy spa at Palm Springs. Stay high to Mickey at Disneyland in Anaheim. Watch the Lakers play in Los Angeles. Do you think that the Lakers, do you think these athletes, do you think these actresses, do you think these actors, do you think these rappers, do you think these entertainers care if you get the Cupid shuffle? No, they don't, because they are being paid to tell you to administer this into your bodies, you all. I heard that Kanye West was promoting it at his concert, y'all. This is ridiculous. Colorado comeback cash. Another lottery drawing. Connecticut Restaurant Association. And the list goes on. Right here, it shows you that you can visit the zoo, the aquarium, the science. Hawaii had one. Let's see what Hawaii said, you all. Let me see. 70%, they're at a 70% vaccination rate. And it says all restrictions will be terminated, including social gatherings and travel restrictions and restaurant capacity limits. It says High got vaccinated. Residents who receive at least one Cupid shuffle shot of Moderna or Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson are eligible to enter from any island, county in Hawaii. Here are the prizes, you all. Y'all can read this mess for yourself because, like I said, every state has a drawing. Every state has incentives. I'm not going down the line. This is just like telling kids to comply with something and you're going to give them a reward in school for being good. So that is an insult to everybody, in my personal opinion. Let me scratch that off the list. Because last year, they were giving out $1,700 to people in Nevada who wanted to test the Cupid shuffle, y'all. And that's all your life is worth to them. All right. Now, we went over the judge ordering the Cupid shuffle for punishment, and they are doing that now. So just be very careful and cautious. So we talked about, that. Now, you remember on the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee, go back and watch the video, y'all, because she asked Fauci, how do you feel about being the men's sexiest man of the year reward? How do you feel about that? And the bobbleheads. And then if you don't remember it, DJ Envy couldn't wait to ask the question about sports. And so is wrestling or is something essential? Is wrestling essential? Like asking dumb questions. And we are allegedly under a world pandemic. And these are the best questions they could think to ask. I just thought this was so silly. All right. You all, there are videos out here that are floating around that people have suffered paralysis from getting the Cupid shuffle. So let's examine this, you all. Because I do know some people personally who have taken the Cupid shuffle and they have told me their side effects. Some people mysteriously ended up with gout. And, I don't know how that happened, but I know before they had gout, they took the Cupid shuffle. All right. And some people couldn't walk. And mysteriously before that happened, they took the Cupid shuffle. And there was an 80-year-old, one of my colleagues told me he was fine. He was working from home. And you all, after he took the Cupid shuffle, the doctor said it was nothing else they could do for him, but he was perfectly fine at 80 years old working for AT&T. I'm not making this up. And that is why my video that was entitled Golden Queen with the gold tank top off of my Melanated Queen line, that video got taken down because I was speaking about these things and about people that had taken the Cupid shuffle, y'all. Let's see. What did I want to go over? So okay. So, oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, let's type this in here, y'all. Let me go ahead and share my screen on this one so you can see for yourselves. You know, people don't believe stuff until they see it for themselves. They're very skeptical. I don't believe that. Okay, well, don't. All right, so here's the screen share. Let me make sure you all can still hear me. All right. So it looks like, it sounds like you can still hear me. Now, I don't even have to play this. All I'm going to do is just scroll. And as you can see, Toronto woman develops cerebral palsy after the Cupid shuffle. Paralyzed after the Cupid shuffle, nurse finally returns home. Video, Tennessee woman partially paralyzed after rare reaction to the Cupid shuffle vaccine walks again. So I just told you that certain people that I know personally had trouble walking after they took the Cupid shuffle, and the doctors told them they had gout. One of them was in her 30s. Okay, so it does not matter your age. Did one of the three of the four volunteers develop the palsy after being vaccinated with the Cupid shuffle? Okay, volunteers. Okay, just keep in mind that a lot of this stuff is still being tested and trial. It's in a trial basis. All right. Somebody else paralyzed after second shot. Okay, 2.8 million views. You all stay abreast. Johnson & Johnson side effects could cause neurological disorder, including paralysis. You all, Bell's palsy and the Cupid shuffle. All right. Now look at this one. Israelis suffer facial paralysis after the Cupid shuffle. You all, and this is the video that I was going to play, but I'm not going to play it because I don't want people saying that, you know, I'm stealing content. But you all can take a look at this as well. Woman dies 4 days after getting the Cupid shuffle. Okay. FDA member on why she voted against the Pfizer Cupid shuffle, y'all, vaccine. Doctors' nervous system played a part after being left paralyzed after first dose of the Cupid shuffle. You all, on my other video, I played a video about a 13-year-old that died after receiving the Cupid shuffle. It was a 13-year-old boy. If you're not familiar with myocarditis, please take a look at that, because this is also causing issues with people's hearts. If you're a heart patient, be very careful. You can get an enlarged heart from getting the Cupid shuffle vaccination. You can actually have your heart being irregular after getting the Cupid shuffle vaccination. And I don't want to play the video because I don't want them to say that I'm stealing content, but the information is out there for those of you who are interested and for those of you who would like to do further research. Now I'm going to further I'm going to do further analysis on the billionaire article that I saw, and I'm going to break this all down to you why they're pushing it so heavy and so hard, you all, because people are getting paid off of this. Okay, people are becoming billionaires while people are out here dying and suffering with paralysis. Okay, so BioNTech vaccine. Okay. Let's see if it comes up. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Let's pull this on up, y'all. So we're going to show you what this is all about. Sharing is caring. That's why they don't want y'all to share the information. All right. For those of you who can see this, the billionaire scientist behind the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine has not sold a single share of his booming stock. You all, if you want to invest into stock, invest into these Cupid shuffle vaccines. This is him right here. His name is Ugar Sahin, founder, okay, of the Mainz Cupid vaccine. Okay, he's a developer of BioNTech. As the pandemic began to rage a year ago, the biopharma industry responded in unprecedented fashion. Life science companies raced to find a solution to the nightmare virus, and promising vaccine efforts soon emerged. The stocks of the companies with the best vaccine candidates soared, and many of their executives rushed to sell shares with a fury that generated scrutiny. This is not even the article that I saw that I wanted to share with you. The one that I saw yesterday was a little different. So that's why I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second and see if I can find the other article that breaks this down even better than this one. All right, let's see if I can find it. This is not it. Inventor. Owner of, let's see if this is it. Inventor. All right, so I don't see the article that I wanted to share, but if I do come across it, it's on my other video, you all. But you can actually check this out on Forbes.com. There are articles that tells you exactly what's going on here. And they are billionaires, not millionaires, billionaires. Okay, so they're receiving billions off of this. And they're saying that it could be 90% effective. Could be, but that does not guarantee that it actually is effective, you all, because you see the ramifications of taking this Cupid shuffle injection. There's a lot of articles. The one that I really wanted y'all to see, I don't see it on here right now, and it's probably in my history somewhere. And let me see if I can look at my history recently. So no, it's not there. Let's see here. Okay, it's not there. So what we're going to do, we're going to delve into the Nuremberg trials. So you all are familiar with that, because I don't know if we touched on what the Nuremberg trials entails. For those of you who are not familiar with this. Okay. All right, let me share the screen and we'll get into it. Okay, here we have it. Nuremberg trials, okay? Updated on June 2019. All right, held for the purpose of bringing Nazi war criminals to justice. The Nuremberg trials were a series of 13 trials carried out in Nuremberg, Germany between 1945 and 1949. The defendants, who included Nazi party officials and high-ranking military officers, along with German industrialists, lawyers, and doctors, were indicted on such charges as crime against peace and crimes against humanity. All right. Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, 1889 to 1945, allegedly committed suicide and was never brought to trial. Although the legal justifications for the trials and their procedural innovations were controversial at the time, the Nuremberg trials are now regarded as a milestone toward the establishment of a permanent international court. Okay, so this is all across the world that the Nuremberg trials will uphold on your behalf, and an important precedent for dealing with later instances of genocide and other crimes against humanity. All right, the road to the Nuremberg trials. Shortly after Adolf Hitler came to power as Chancellor of Germany in 1933, he and his Nazi government began implementing policies designed to persecute German Jewish people and other perceived enemies of the Nazi state. Over the next decade, these policies grew increasingly repressive and violent and resulted by the end of World War II, 1939 to 1945, in the systematic state-sponsored murder of some 6 million European Jews, along with an estimated 4 million to 6 million non-Jews. If you all recall, and I don't know if you had to do this, but we had to read the diary of Anne Frank. And I think she resided in Denmark. She kept a journal or a diary. And she talked about the fact that they had to dye their hair blonde because a lot of the Jews had very black hair, dark features. They used to wear the Star of David. And if you're not familiar with the Star of David, it's basically an upside down triangle and a right side up triangle, and it overlaps one another, and they wear it as an amulet or a pendant around their necks, like in a necklace. She snatched it off because the Nazis came into the living space, their apartment, and tried to round up all the people that they thought were Jewish. And so she had to take that, ball it up in her hand, and she clenched it so hard that that Star of David was imprinted in her hand. And she was scared and nervous because she had dyed her hair blonde. I mean, she was a little girl when this happened. Now, I forgot if, I think this was based on true stories, but you all, they were putting people allegedly in gas chambers and stuff like that. So, you know, it is an atrocity what these people will do. It does not matter. You know, and if you read the book, it's called Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. Please, I would actually say, you know, purchase that book. It's on Amazon. You can get it in a digital form. I read that book in about a day or two, and it was very insightful. I think Alex Jones talked about this book. I came across it in 2017. I was watching Alex Jones back in like 2015. And I think a lot of people were. And then I had to back up off of him because he was the one that was talking about Bohemian Grove and all of these things, you know, Skull and Bones and all of that. But that's neither here nor there. You all, these people have been doing this ever since they felt like doing it. This war against humanity continues all around the world. There are many different atrocities that we don't even hear about. But this one right here is so big, because it is meant to depopulate the world. And not just that, they're talking about being a one world government. If you don't believe me, check out the quote by David Rockefeller. You all, let me pull that up for you for those who are not aware. Okay? Because there's a lot of people that are not privy to the information, and they don't understand the magnitude of why people are so against having the C shot. So David Rockefeller, okay, quote, all these people are evil. I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this for yourselves, because I watched the whole documentary on him. And it was long, but it's very insightful. And this is how you know the games that they play against humanity. And it's really not a game. It's really sad. But as you can see, it says we are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the new world order. David Rockefeller, speaking at a UN business conference, September 14th, 1994. Okay. There's another quote that he said. It says, some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty, and I am proud of it. That's yours truly, David Rockefeller. So for all of you out there who wants to throw up the rock symbol, Rockefeller, you know, you want to talk about Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z and them, this is who he's emulating, you all. And this is the silly antics that a lot of these rappers go after. They want to be like these Europeans. They want Jim Jones. He's another one that based his name on someone else. Scarface, that's another one that based his name on the likes of an Italian. These rappers always want to be something other than what they are. You know, they don't talk about, You never hear a rapper name themselves after like a Dr. Sabi or Dr. Layla Africa. And actually, I don't even think they should, because that would actually be demeaning for them to do something like that. But why don't they hold them in high regard? You never hear that. And people want to talk about, oh yeah, well, Nipsey Hussle was going to do a documentary. No, I don't even fall for those silly antics either, because I did a whole live stream talking about Nipsey Hussle, not entirely about him, but the fact that I personally believe, from what I have seen, that that was a CIA operative as well, along with Tupac. And I'm not going to get into that, along with your boy Young Pharaoh. So they always are going to infiltrate the system. They're always going to show you who you should follow. The leaders, their quote unquote leaders, are going to come out of nowhere. I always say, lead yourself. You don't need anybody else to lead you. We need to come together as a collective, you all, and unite. What else did I want to touch on, you all? We talked about the billionaires article, which I really didn't see the article that I wanted. So if I find it, I will come back on and we will further examine that article. So let me put a star beside that one. We talked about the paralysis video. What else was there? You all think we're going to talk about the kids. Yeah, let's look at that article, you all. We're going to talk about that as well. So there is an article where kids, let's see, DC lawsuit. Here we go. Because they're letting the kids get vaccinated, y'all, behind the parents' backs. Okay. Yep. That's what's going on. And let me share this with you for those who don't believe it. Because you know how people are. They got to see it to believe it. Let me make sure you can hear me. Lawsuits challenge DC law allowing kids to get vaccines without parental permission, you all. It's right here in front of your face. This is WashingtonPost.com. Published July 18th, 21 at 6 a.m. All right. And this one right here says 2 lawsuits filed in DC federal court this month challenged the city law passed last year that allows minors to be vaccinated without parents' knowledge, saying the legislation violates religious liberty. The litigation comes as health officials across the country debate how much information minors should be given about vaccines, with at least one state seeking to limit teenagers' access to shots that would protect them from the Cupid shuffle and other illnesses. In October, the district passed the Minor Consent to Vaccinations Amendment Act, which allows children as young as 11 to get vaccines without their parents' knowledge if a doctor determines that they are capable of informed consent. So F what the parents say. Forget you. You ain't nobody. You just gave birth to them. You just helped create them and bring them to the world and take care of them. We're going to go behind your back because we're the doctor and we can do what we want with your child. This is why I would stress heavily for people not to get social security numbers for their children, because if they become a ward of the state, meaning that the state thinks that they can take your child as basically like property, if you will, and do what they will with your child. Moving along in the law, it was passed before the COVID vaccine became available. So why would they pass this law? Okay, but anyway, see, this all was orchestrated. It's so obvious that this was planned. Became available and was meant to allow teenagers to get shots such as HPV vaccines. You all, same thing with the any shot, any vaccine can have the same ramifications, the same effects. Look at the side effects. You can have paralysis with this. And actually, this did cause paralysis. I saw this back in 2015. There was a girl who became paralyzed. These shots that they give you do not ward against every strand of whatever the sickness or disease is, and it only lasts for a certain amount of time. So be very careful with this. So it supposedly protects against a sexually transmitted infection. Your body can actually fight this off. There are many different strands of HPV if you do your research on that, and it's very common amongst the population for whatever reason. From the research that I've come across, they tried to give me this vaccine and I didn't know any better way back in the day, a long time ago. And after they were trying to push it, I found out that a lot of people were having issues because of it. Okay, and it can cause cancer. So can the vaccine. And meningitis vaccine, okay, recommended for teens. On Monday, for parents of children who attend or plan to enroll at DC public and charter schools sued Mayor Muriel E. Bowser and other public officials, saying the law subverts the right and duty of parents to make informed decisions about whether their children should receive vaccinations. The lawsuit, filed in U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia, cited parents' religious objections to the Cupid shuffle vaccines and other immunizations. It said the law violates their religious liberty and their fundamental right to direct the care and upbringing of their children. So basically, they're trying to circumnavigate around the fact that you can come up with a religious objection, meaning that you can't use religion as a right to stop your child from being vaccinated. The parents fear that if they send their children to DC public schools in person, their children will be pressured by teachers and peers to seek the vaccine without their parents' knowledge across the suit, according to the suit. A spokeswoman for Bowser said the city could not comment on pending litigation. The law was enacted last year without the mayor's signature. The suit did not identify the religious affiliation of the parents, who say that it would violate their faith if their children were immunized. No major American religious group says that children should not get vaccines, but many states allow parents to opt their children out of the shots if the parents claim a personal faith-based objection. All right, let's continue on here. This is crazy, y'all. Because the DC law allows healthcare providers to leave students' immunization records blank, the lawsuit said it helps create a separate record that does contain vaccines administered under the act, but which cannot be transmitted to a parent. So they're being sneaky behind the parents' backs. The lawsuit, which asked the court to declare the law unconstitutional and stop the city from enforcing it, was brought by Children's Health Defense, an organization run by anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has supported debunked vaccine conspiracy theories and is listed as an attorney on the complaint. The suit also filed in DC federal court by a Maryland man who said his daughter sought a vaccine in the district without his knowledge and despite his religious objections to vaccine. The plaintiff's daughter is now 16, suffered a severe reaction to a vaccine when she was 5 years old, according to the suit. However, in April, she went to MedStar Georgetown Pediatrics to get a vaccine for tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis so she could attend camp, the suit said. At MedStar, doctor coached her on lying in relation to receiving the shots, according to the suit, which was filed July 2nd. When the teenager became nervous and decided not to get vaccinated, the doctor and nurse positioned themselves in the room such that she felt trapped before she was able to leave without receiving any vaccines. In an email, MedStar Georgetown University Hospital spokeswoman Lisa C. Claw said the institution was not a party to the lawsuit. She declined to comment on an individual patient's treatment, citing federal privacy laws. MedStar Georgetown's Pediatrics is committed to providing world-class compassionate care to all of our patients, she said. We follow all applicable laws regarding the administration of vaccines. The suit asked the court to declare the Minor Consent to Vaccinations Amendment Act unconstitutional, saying it creates an entire structure by which the healthcare provider, insurance company, school, and health department all engage in an elaborate and deceitful scheme. And I agree, my sentiments exactly are the same. The lawsuits were filed as the nation debates how much vaccine access children should have without their parents' knowledge and whether they should get information about vaccines at all. Y'all, this is a mess. All right. So yeah, you can read this article. It goes into further detail about that. And like I said, they are actually, in some instances, you know, allowing the kids to be administered the vaccine in schools behind the parents' back without the parents' permission, and having the insurance companies billed without the parents' knowledge, and keeping the records at the school, you all. So they're playing military mind games. And I think that this is something that needs to be talked about, needs to be explored, and this information needs to be shared. Because what if your child is not aware of a certain allergic reaction they may have, and they consent to this, they're minors? What if they die? And then who's going to be held liable for it? You all, there is some information that I wish to play for you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it here, because this information that I have is so helpful to the public, but it can't be shared on Instagram. I don't even think that YouTube is going to allow it, but I'm going to try to share it the best way that I can. And you know, we're going to get through this all. You all just be steadfast, remain abreast with your information and your knowledge. If you know something, share. You know, if you see something, say something. Don't allow people to get away with these antics and these atrocities against humankind and mankind, because it's simply not right, especially when they start attacking your children without your knowledge, you all. And so I'm going to close out here. I want to thank everybody who has joined me today. If you would like to converse more on this topic, feel free to write to me at BGABClothing@gmail.com. If there are any other topics you'd like for me to address, BGABClothing@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. That's brown.girls.r.beautiful. Shout out to all my melanated warriors, melanated queens, melanated kings, princes, and princesses out there. Continue to walk in your divinity. And haben Sie einen guten Nacht, you all. Everybody have a good night. And until next time, you all stay blessed and stay healthy and protected. Thank you so much for listening. And again, thank you so much for watching. We're going to close out, you all, with a commercial. All right, I'm signing off. Y'all take care.
Get into it, okay? Get into it. Enjoy nature, y'all. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like water. It's nothing like beautiful waterfalls.